The last time? Is this truly the last time we will ever see the Warrens in a Conjuring film or spin-off of that cinematic universe? That's what they're claiming today. That is what they're claiming. The last Rites is out in cinemas this week, and they claim this will be the last time we will see the Warrens in a Conjuring film. Conjuring The Last Rites, of course, stars Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson as they take on one last terrifying case involving mysterious entities. This one comes from the same director who did the last Conjuring film, and it has been said that this one is a sequel to the last film, but I mean, they're all kind of sequels of each other. I don't think it's connected to the last film's entities, but I will let you guys know ahead of time if you need a heads up to rewatch them. Today I'm gonna go check it out for you, spoiler free, and let you know whether it's worth your time going out and seeing this one in the cinema. I do know that this one has a lot to do with their daughter, Judy. I have seen parts of the trailer. I've just been trying not to pay attention when it does play before other films at the cinema. And I did read that they replaced Judy, the actress who played her in the other films. They replaced her for this film because, of course, she's much older. And I can assume she's gonna get wrapped up in whatever this evil entity is trying to do. We really gotta up the stakes for the last one. Look, I feel like the Conjuring cinematic universe has definitely had its peaks and dips. I'm hoping they can end it on a bang, but I do understand why they want to end it. It is the same formula that we're redoing over and over. I can almost guarantee, I have not seen it yet, that Lorraine is going to be shut inside a room somewhere with her husband banging on the door trying to get to her. I don't know if that's happened in every film, but it feels like it has. I go into Conjuring films, number one, because I mean, I love Patrick Wilson, I love Vera Farmiga, and I love James Wan. But two, for the scares. I'm going for a popcorn, horror, dark, supernatural ride. And as long as I get a little bit freaked out, I'm good with that. So let's hope we go out with a bang, but I'm gonna let you know, completely honest and spoiler free, whether it's worth your time. I have seen people debating already about the CGI that is shown in the trailer, so I'm gonna let you know about that as well. Lock in, guys. Let's go see the last ever Conjuring film. It's the end of an era. Let's go. You know what? Hell yeah. I just got out of watching The Conjuring, The Last Rites, the last Conjuring film ever. And honestly, I think it's a good wrap up. It worked. It worked. It was a little bit different in its pacing. It is a longer film. And I also think it's one of the better Conjuring films overall. So the movie is primarily about the family being the Warrens. And I think the investigation in this one takes more of a, I wouldn't say a backseat, because, you know, obviously it threads the whole story together. But I do think that the focus is primarily on the family, and it becomes more of their journey, especially Judy, their daughter, because it has to be, you know, the most epic case that stopped them from investigating, that changed their lives, that turned them away from doing this. So that's what we have. It's focused on them, their family, more of their relationships, and then it meets the investigation towards the end half of the film. It is slower in pace, but the scares are there from the start. I loved the opening sequence, and I do think it is the most bloody of the Conjuring films. I think hands down I can just say that. There's a lot of fluids in this film that I wasn't expecting, a lot of dark moments, dark visions, but also a lot of the scares, the timing of them are masterfully done. I think it's what The Conjuring's really known for, and that scary element, you know, the clapping, the clap game, if you know that from The Conjuring, anything like that, the spinning of the music box in one of them with the swirling, that kind of aspect is done really well in this film. Those moments where you're like, just jump out already, I'm so done with it, I'm so scared, and I did feel that. I was wriggling around. So if those kinds of scares work for you, and that's what you want in Conjuring films, this film does have that. But where it comes to the reveals is a whole different story. And this is dependent, again, on your personal taste, because that is an ongoing conversation a lot of people have about how soon entities should be revealed and how much they should be revealed. And this film, like the other Conjuring films, it's not afraid to show you the entity. And the entity in Conjuring films can have a little bit of a CGI element. I did think at times it was a lot, but I did think other times when it wasn't as much and you could see the actual actor behind the entity and the movement and the way they were just coming at you, that worked so much better, but there's a good balance. I would say it's exactly what you expect with the Conjuring film in terms of the CGI element. It's not overdone. It's done as much as it is in other films. I mean, The Crooked Man was a huge one, and I think it's justified. It justifies the means. It's also really well explained, the entities in this film, because it's not going to leave any doors open. It's going to, you know, kind of close up all of the loose ends, and I was really glad they did that, because in a lot of the other films, they give you little bits and pieces, and then they change them in the sequels. Speaking of the franchise as a whole, this film is for lovers of the franchise. You can definitely watch it if you've never seen another Conjuring film, but it won't have the same effect. You probably won't care about a lot of things that happen in this film, and there are some good Easter eggs, but it also is a callback to a lot of people in their lives and things like that, because it is about their interpersonal lives and Judy growing up. So it is made for Conjuring fans to really close out the series. I wouldn't say the epic scenes in this one, especially towards the end, with, you know, everything going on with the case they're on, were my favorite. I think that the lead up and the creepy elements along the way got me a lot more. When it is so brazen, bold, and in your face, I'm not talking about the entity reveals, but just, you know, the scary climax of the film. This was not one of my favorite ones of that, but I do think the actual ending of the film and the ending of their story is really well done, and it's not actually overkill, which I thought they might try and harp on those strings, those heart strings. I think they did just enough, so I was kind of pleased with that. And for a 2-hour film, I thought the pacing was really well done. Again, it is a lot more of a drama film. It's slow to get into the case, where in the other films it kind of starts with the case. I mean, it does kind of start with the case here, but where they meet in the middle with the Warrens and the case coming together, it takes a little while to get to that, but I think it was justified by being the last film anyway. It made sense to be this way because it's meant to be closing their chapter as well. I also think the actor who plays Judy was really well cast, and it works. There's a lot of good chemistry between the three of them. It's going to be so weird not to see another Conjuring film, and I feel like it is a completely different pace to the last one, which was really trying to throw everything at the wall and see what would stick. I wasn't a huge fan of the last one, so it was nice for them to kind of take their time in this film and really harp on the subtle horror moments instead of just being full on intense trying to keep you in the dark. There was a lot of light and dark, and I'm talking about the cinematography as well. There's a lot of day shots and scenes, and then there's a lot of nighttime things or things that change rapidly, and I liked that mix. It really did bring it into real life as much as you want to believe whatever you believe about the Warrens. It felt like it was finally meeting in the middle with the supernatural and realism. I think if you are a fan of any of the Conjuring films, this is definitely worth your time, because I do think it's one of the better entries, but I also think it closes off the series in a very understandable way. I think it's satisfying, I think it's quite bloody, and the entities were very scary in the subtle moments. The climax, not my favorite, but, you know, they got to do something. They got to figure out how to make it scary in some way, but it is a nice ending. I feel good about the ending of the franchise this way. It made sense. It's kind of poetic, so I think any fan of the franchise will be very happy to see this in the cinema. I also really urge you to see Conjuring films in the cinema, or any ghost stories in the cinema, or supernatural, because they like to hide certain things in the shadows, and I think that obviously works the best on a big screen. I'm in a different cinema than I normally go to today because I wanted to see it on the biggest screen I could, and seeing those things in the background, it has a different effect that way instead of waiting to watch it at home. But I mean, whatever you need to do, whatever is accessible to you is fine, but definitely add it to your to watch list. I'm gonna give this one a personal score of 7 out of 10. I think that's quite fair. I liked it better than some of the other Conjuring, I should say, universe films. There aren't that many Conjuring standalone films. Annabelle, I think, could come back, so maybe saying goodbye to the Warrens won't be forever. They could reappear in one of those films, but more of side characters instead of them investigating anything to do with Annabelle. I do think it's important you have your Annabelle knowledge as well, I should say, before seeing this film, just to get the full effect out of it. Because it is about Judy, who has, you know, a backstory with Annabelle. For scare, I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna give it a 7, actually. But remember, it is kind of like popcorn, supernatural scares. I guess you can put scares in a whole different category, subcategories, but that's the kind of scare, the one that has you waiting for the jump scare constantly. And for originality, it gets a 2. Yeah. I mean, it goes through the paces, but what the heck else do you expect? I kind of want to go through the paces for my final showdown. But there still are some pretty brutal, as I said, bloody scenes. Let me know what you thought if you've seen The Conjuring, or let me know if you're interested in it. Do you like this franchise? Do you want more of the side quests? The other characters? Do you want more nun films? I want the Crooked Man. They've been talking about doing that forever, and I would love to see that origin story. But I'll talk to you guys very soon. Don't forget, I have a video on everything you will want to check out this month. And of course, I went and saw Toxic Avenger. Bye, friends.